Valmiki Ramayana, Bala Kanda, Book 1, Sarga 41, Canto 41. Kapil. The father lent a gracious ear and listened to their tale of fear, and kindly to the gods replied, whom woe and death had terrified. The wisest Vasudeva, who, the immortal's foe, fierce Madhu slew, regards broad earth with love and pride, and guards in Kapil's form his bride. His kindled wrath will quickly fall on the king's sons and burn them all. This cleaving of the earth his eye foresaw in ages long gone by. He knew with prescient soul the fate that Sagar's children should await. The 330, freed from fear, sought their bright homes with hopeful cheer. Still rose the great tempestuous sound as Sagar's children pierced the ground. When thus the whole broad earth was cleft, and not a spot unsearched was left, back to their home the princes sped, and thus unto their father said, we searched the earth from side to side, while countless hosts of creatures died. Our conquering feet in triumph trod on snake and demon, fiend and god. But yet we failed with all our toil to find the robber and the spoil. What can we more, if more we can, devise, O king, and tell thy plan? His children's speech King Sagar heard, and answered thus, to anger stirred, dig on, and ne'er your labor stay, till through earth's depths you force your way. Then smite the robber dead, and bring the charger back with triumphing. The 60,000 chiefs obeyed. Deep through the earth their way they made, deep as they dug, and deeper yet. The immortal elephant they met, famed Virupaksha, vast of size, upon whose head the broad earth lies. The mighty beast who earth sustains, with shaggy hills and wooded plains. When, with the changing moon distressed, and longing for a moment's rest, his mighty head the monster shakes. Earth to the bottom reels and quakes. Around that warder, strong and vast, with reverential steps they passed. Nor when the honor due was paid, their downward surge through earth delayed. But turning from the east aside, southward again, their task they plied. There Mahapadma held his place, the best of all his mighty race. Like some huge hill of monstrous girth, upholding on his head the earth. When the vast beast the princess saw, they marveled and were tilled with awe. Tiled with awe. The sons of high soul Sagar round that elephant in reverence wound. Then in the western region they, with might unwearied, cleft their way. There saw they with astonished eyes Salmanas, beast of mountain size. Round him with circling steps they went, with greetings kind and reverent. On, no thought of rest or stay, they reached the seat of Soma's sway. There saw they Bhadra, white as snow, with lucky marks that fortune show. Bearing the earth upon his head, round him they paced with solemn tread, and honored him with greetings kind. Then downward yet their way they mind. They gained the track twixt east and north, whose fame is ever blazoned forth, and by a storm of rage impelled, digging through earth their course they held. Then all the princes, lofty souled, of wondrous vigor, strong and bold, saw Vasudeva standing there in Kapil's form he loved to wear, and near the everlasting God, the victim charger cropped the sod. They saw with joy and eager eyes the fancied robber and the prize, and on him rushed the furious band, crying aloud, "Stand, villain, stand!" "Avaunt, avaunt!" great Kapil cried, his bosom flushed with passion's tide. Then by his might that proud array, all scorched to heaps of ashes lay. Jai Valmiki Ramayana. Beautiful. Amazing, amazing translation by Ralph Griffith. Credit where credit is due. Footnotes 51:1. Said to be so called from the jambu or rose apple abounding in it, and signifying, according to the Purana, the central division of the world, the known world. 51.1b. Here used as a name of Vishnu. 51.2b. Kings are called the husbands of their kingdoms, or of the earth. She and his kingdom were his only brides. Raghuvanas. Doubly divorced, bad man, you violate a double marriage. Betwixt my crown and me, and then between me and my married wife. King Richard II, Act 5, SC 1. 51.3b. The 33 gods are said in the Aitareya Brahmana, Book 1, Chapter 2, 10, to be the 8 Vasus, the 11 Rudras, the 12 Adityas, Prajapati, either Brahma or Daksha, and Vashatakara, or deity oblation. This must have been an actual number at the beginning of the Vedic religion, gradually increased by successive mythical and religious creations, till the Indian pantheon was crowded with abstractions of every kind. Through the reverence with which the words of the Veda were regarded, the immense host of multiplied divinities in later times still bore the name of the 33 gods. 52.1. One of the elephants which, according to an ancient belief popular in India, supported the earth with their enormous backs. When one of these elephants shook his wearied head, the earth trembled with its woods and hills. An idea, or rather a mythical fancy, similar to this, but reduced to proportions less grand, is found in Virgil when he speaks of Enceladus buried under Etna. Fama est Enceladi, semiustum fulmine corpus, urgeri molo heac, ingentem in super Etnam, impositam ruptis flammam expirare caminis, et fesum quotis mutat latus intremere omnem, murmure trinacriam, et coelum subtexere fumo. Eind. Lib. 3. Goresio. Okay, let's now dissect a whole bunch of BS coming from our Freemasons, Ralph Griffith and Goresio and the company. Constantly trying to minimize the Vedas by calling them mythical fancy. He will never admit that actually it is Greeks who drew their stories from the Vedas, because the Vedas are eternal. They're happening again and again with creation and destruction of every universe. Everything starts very simple, okay? Everything starts very simple. When Garbhodakashayi Vishnu lies down on the water, the universe is filled with half water, and there Garbhodakashayi Vishnu lies, and then from his navel a lotus stem grows all the way to the top of the universe, where Lord Brahma is born on top of the golden lotus flower. And this is how the universe starts. Okay? And then from Brahma, there is one Brahma in each universe. Then he creates all other gods. So when you see capital for gods, that's wrong. It should be small g, not capital G, small g, because gods, they're not actually God themselves, they're just demigods, half gods. In other words, they're empowered by God, Vasudeva, Vishnu, Krishna, to act as the powerful administrators of the universe. Demigods are nothing but a powerful administrators of the whole universe, the whole body, universal body, just like a country, a state, a company, a corporation. Everything has a structure, very rigid structure of authority. So does this whole universe. When we look every night up in the sky, everything is populated. Every single planet is populated. Every single so-called star is populated with millions of demigods who are the administrators, the empowered administrators of the whole universe. So Freemasons want to tell us that these are all mythologies because for some reason they don't like demigods. They don't like demigods and they don't want people to know about them. Although the earth was pagan for millennia, everybody worshipped different deities for different benefits. But at the same time, everybody knew that Vasudeva, Vishnu, Narayana is God. Krishna, Rama is God. But at the same time, the worship of Shiva, of Lord Brahma, of Kali, of Durga was going on all over the planet. But the Freemasons, who are in charge of the governments today and educational system, they don't want you to know this because for some reason they don't like the demigods. They don't like the higher authority than they are. Everybody is trying to dominate over the material energy. Everyone is trying to dominate and manipulate over others. That's the nature material world. It's some kind of ego stroking going on. People like this feeling of being in control. While actually nobody is in control because everything is under control of Krishna. Anyway, there are 33 gods. 33, the famous Freemasonic number. The 33-degree Freemasons, Illuminatis. Illuminatis. Who are Illuminatis? Illuminatis, when you look at the stars, every night they're illuminated. They're twinkling little stars. These are Illuminatis or demigods. Or demigods. And they are 33 million different demigods. Main demigods. Of course, there are so many other followers who live with the demigods on demigods' planets, but they are 33 million different demigods. So when our Griffith says that Indian pantheon was crowded with so many things, so many different gods, demigods, it is because everything starts very simple. First Brahma comes, then he creates Manus, then from Manus, different demigods, smaller demigods come, and everybody is in charge of something, and they create human beings. Anunnaki. Anunnaki means anu, manu, manu. Anunnakis, the engineers, the lawgivers. That's a Sumerian version of Manus. So gradually, of course, the pantheon is gonna get crowded with so many different other things. But the main gods are always there. They will never go away. They will be given most respect because these are like presidents of a company, of a corporation, of a country, of a state. Like they all get, some kind of respect. So in the same way, the human beings have to acknowledge that there is a higher divine power that is located in the outer universe that is completely controlling us. Our sight, power of seeing, our power of hearing, our power of touching, our power of tasting, our power of walking. Otherwise, we'll be handicapped. We couldn't walk without the higher power demigods. Because these bodies that we have, material bodies, are not under our control. They're not under our control because you eat and you don't know what's going on in the body, how everything is happening, and then everything is digested properly. You have no idea how everything is working, but it's working because of the higher authorities who are in charge of every detail of this material universe. But due to ignorance and modern education, we have come to neglect this kind of authorities, and we accepted complete morons for the authority by telling us that the universe is empty and that we are hurling with a speed, high speed through it, through the space, and it's all happening out of nothing and by chance. These are all absolute rubbish, ignorance, stupidity, all coming from Freemasons, material science, atheistic science. Okay, so many things to talk about. So many things to talk about. Beautiful chapter, though. Beautiful chapter. Translation is superb. These are really experts who can translate from. I guess Goresio was translating from Sanskrit to Latin, and now this dude, Ralph Griffith, is translating from Latin to English. Well, I can tell you, these people are experts in the languages. Experts in the languages. It's just mind-boggling how he can translate like this. It's beautiful. Jai Ramayana Ki Jai. We're learning about history. Finally, King Sagar's sons were turned into heaps of ashes by Kapila, Lord Kapila, Lord Vishnu himself. Talking about different elephants who are holding the earth in place. Of course, to ignorant people, this can sound super fancy. It is so beyond a commoner to understand this, specifically nowadays, because they think literally what they're being taught, that this is all mythology and imagination. But so is a Big Bang Theory. It's also mythology and imagination. There's no proof. It's just somebody telling you a story. So if you can believe in bullshit that everything came from nothing, why can't you believe that there are four giant elephants holding the earth? It's so simple. You believe everything came from nothing, and that's scientific, right? Somebody tells you it was a boom, big bang, and now everything can come about. If you can believe in that crap, you can believe anything. So why don't you just believe in the Vedas? The Vedas is telling you they are these elephants who are holding the earth. But the only way you can understand this, if you're a little bit humble and you accept the fact that what we are talking, what the Vedas are talking, is superhuman beings, multidimensional demigods of all kinds of forms, multidimensional, high dimensional, superhuman beings capable of doing stuff it's not even imaginable for us Kali Yugans who have lost all our virtues, all our good pious activities and good karma, and now we are completely wallowing in the darkness of ignorance, thinking, literally thinking, that we are the only ones in the universe, except for there are some few, grays, a few aliens constantly we are being preached to by the NASA and by the government, or there are some green aliens out there, and that's it. Me, us, and few green aliens. That's all it is out there. This is how abused we are by this modern system of government and education. We have completely lost our true original history, the true original culture, the Vedas, the Vedic culture. We have completely lost all touch with that. It has been replaced by gross, gross atheistic, material, so-called science. Okay, ciao, bye.